Hey guys, so I just wanted to touch base with you since you have your exam in less than a week. I know a lot of you have probably been following on Twitter and hearing what's coming out where students are having trouble uploading at the end, and that can be really stressful. I just want to say, don't stress out. Don't even worry about that. Just do the best you can. My recommendation, if you look on here, you can see that there's three different ways that you can submit your DBQ. You can copy and paste from a typed response, such as like a Google Doc or a Word doc. You can attach a document, so you can upload like a Google Doc or a Word doc, or you can take photos of something handwritten and click submit. My recommendation is not to handwrite it. If you really like can't type and you feel like that's the best way, I guess do it. But if you handwrite and have an issue uploading, you're done. Like there's no other way for you to try. Whereas if you type it, you have two avenues. You can copy and paste, or you can upload the document, which will increases your chances of being able to submit. There is a retake in June. Please don't freak out and worry about whether or not you can submit it. The only thing that you can control is you prepping and you writing. You can't control what happens on the College Board site. Has out of your hands, so don't stress about it because really there's nothing you can do. So just to kind of reiterate, the rubric has changed. It's based on 10 points now. So you have your thesis. You need to describe two documents and use these two documents to support an argument. You need outside evidence. I would recommend for like each paragraph, is you'll probably do two paragraphs, a piece of outside information for each. And then it says you need a source and point of view, etc., for one document, and source and point of view for two documents. So you are using 4 documents minimum. If you have time, I would try to use the 5th document just, as like a buffer in case you kind of mess up your analysis or point of view for something else. And then, of course, you need contextualization. You need to make sure you are supporting your argument. And then there's the complexity point showing that you have a complex understanding. Now, if you guys have watched Heimler, he did a live stream of him writing a DBQ in 45 minutes, and he was trying to focus on this complexity point. And because he was so focused on trying to get that one point, he screwed up his point of view analysis and lost 2 points. So you should really focus your energy where you're going to get the most bang for your buck, right? So the last DBQ that you guys did for me, and I'm going to kind of switch over here. Oh, am I shutting down? Let's see. Here we go. So the last one we did was based on the old rubric. But let me move my video so you can see what I'm talking about. Part A is like your thesis and contextualization. Most of you guys have it. The outlines that we did recently for the DBQ, I was looking at, and some of you, your thesis was not an argument. It was to what extent did the Spanish conquest like change the Americas? And some of you are just like, it changed it or it didn't change it. But you really need to like make an argument. And if you're talking about to what extent, you need to talk about like how much changed, how much didn't change, right? So you need to make sure that whatever the essay is, your thesis is making an argument for that, and then add in contextualization. The part B on here is using the documents. You guys are pretty good at using documents for evidence. Keep in mind, you do not need to have direct quotes. Chances are you're wasting time if you're putting a direct quote from the documents. 45 minutes goes quick, especially if you're spending 10 to 15 minutes processing the documents and outlining your essay. Part C is where people start to kind of lose points. That's like the outside info and your point of view analysis. You guys will throw in some outside info. That's great. You might mention the point of view, but you're not going to get credit for that point of view unless you explain how that point of view really supports your argument. You have to link it back to your argument. And I would recommend you watching Heimler write his essay and then his commentary on that. I mean, his perspective kind of was like 45 minutes is not a lot of time. To focus on trying to get a complexity point is kind of a waste of the time. You really should be focusing your energy on using the documents, having the outside information, addressing your point of view, and getting that connected all back to your thesis statement. The thesis is your claim. That's what you're trying to prove. If you don't prove it with your essay, you're losing points, okay? So just a couple of things to point out as well. So hopefully get this to load. The Unit 6 review, I've posted everything that's due before your next test, so you can really work ahead, work at your own pace. This is crunch time. There's a number of practice DBQs. I know some of you recently have reached out to me. My recommendation, set yourself a timer. If you get extended time, you have 90 minutes to write and 10 minutes to upload. Otherwise, it's 45 minutes, okay? So you have the 40 minutes to write, 5 minutes to upload. You could do these practice DBQs. Maybe you want to just focus on trying to practice the point of view. There's still time for you to schedule one-on-ones with me if you want to go over some of that. You can bring in your previous write-in and we can talk that through. You have practice SAQs. The SAQs are really good because that helps you kind of just work with some basic content, but also it's going to help you with kind of your claims and proving your points, right? Because if you are being vague and you're not proving your points, you're losing credit there. And that's like the majority of the DBQ. You essentially have to make a claim, support that claim with document evidence, outside evidence, and like prove your point, right? So on Monday, you should be getting your AP e-ticket from the College Board. You're going to need that. You want to make sure your device is charged, but also you want to make sure that wherever you're working, it's a quiet place. You can plug in. You don't want to like not be plugged in and rely on your battery and have it die. You should have a Google Doc or your or like a Word doc prepared with your AP ID and initials at the top. I would recommend printing out the DBQ organization sheet. Even if you don't use it fully, just jotting down some ideas is going to help you. And to print out the rubric. The rubric, you can print it out and then also use that as like a checklist at the end to go back and be like, do I have X, Y, and Z? Now, remember, if you say their point of view is, and you don't link it back to your argument, you don't get any points for that. It's a big fat 0. You have to connect it all the way back, okay? I will be Zooming at 6:30 p.m. You all should have gotten an invite through Google calendars for that on Wednesday beforehand. There is a form posted in Google Classroom for you to submit any questions that you have, anything you want to go over. That way, when you come in, we got some stuff to work with and we're not just sitting there waiting for people to ask things. That morning at 9 a.m., I'll also have a Zoom. The way I see it is Wednesday by Wednesday, if you don't have it, don't even stress about it. It's more important to go to bed, wake up and have a good breakfast. The 9 a.m. Zoom, it's just more of like you can come in, you can ask a couple questions, get some reassurance. But cramming at 9 a.m. the day of the test isn't going to really help, okay? And then the next day, I'll have a 1 p.m. exam debrief where you can pop in and we can go over things, see how you feel. But remember, in the grand scheme of things, like this isn't going to count against you on your record. If you bomb, like this is crazy situations. It doesn't have to be sent to colleges. Like just do your best. Don't stress it. What happens, and we'll deal with it. Okay. So don't forget that you can still schedule one-on-one hangouts with me. The form is in Google Classroom. I've also posted in Google Classroom a AP Modern World Resource kind of document where I've just kind of been linking some documents and practices that we've done, some videos, etc. How to score 10 points is in there, the pre-writing organizers, the modified rubric. There's also some thematic review sheets. There's also the midterm review. So the midterm review that we did covers like most of the units on this test. Units like 1 through 5 were on the midterm. So you can go back and check those out. And then it's really only unit 6, which is consequences of industrialization, essentially imperialism, which is one of the last units we really dove into in the classroom together. So there's tons of stuff there. If I were you, trying to figure out what's the best way to spend my time, we have the Meiji DBQ that you should be timing yourself on this week. The sooner you get that into me, the sooner I can grade it and get you feedback. There's additional practices posted on the Unit 6 review. So if you want to go back and do some review, I know some of you said you wanted some like timed DBQ practices. Just set a timer on your phone, sit there, practice writing it under the time conditions. You can share them with me. I'm happy to look at them over and then meet up with you in like a Zoom. Much like I'm teaching two other courses too. So, I will do my best to get back to you. But if we have a scheduled Zoom, we can at least go over the work that you have together as well. You can ask questions. Again, I would focus your energies on